Good morning. This is Bob Connors, Chair of the Newbury Police Station Building Project Construction Committee. Permit me to confirm that all members and persons anticipated on the agenda are present and can hear me. When I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Martha Taylor.
Yes.
John Keller. Eric Spahn. Chief Riley.
Yes.
Deputy Chief Lucy.
Yes.
Okay, from the Vertex Context Team, Steve.
Yes.
Doug.
He's muted.
Okay, and Zell hasn't signed in yet. Okay, we have a quorum, so let me proceed. Good morning. This open meeting of the Newbury Police Station Building Project Construction Committee is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020. Due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth, due to the outbreak of COVID-19, in order to mitigate the transmission of COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of open meeting law to have all meetings in a publicly accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order which you find posted on the agenda materials for this meeting allows for public bodies to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. Ensuring public access does not ensure public participation unless such participation is required by law. This meeting will not feature public comment. Please note this meeting is being recorded and the attendees are participating by video conference. All right, guys, we got everything out of the way. If you turn to your meeting packet, I apologize for the lateness of it. It just seems to be where my schedule works lately. So tab 1 are the meeting minutes from the August 5th meeting. Why don't we take a minute to review, and I'll entertain a motion. Hey team, can you all put your phones on go on mute unless you're going to speak? We're just getting some background. Oh, thank you. That's great. All right. Do we have a motion to accept the August 5th meeting minutes?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, I will hold a roll call vote. Martha Taylor.
Yes.
John Lucy.
Yes.
Mike Riley.
Yes.
And Bob Connors votes yes. Meeting carries. The motion carries. Actually, it's a perfect time to take a sip of coffee so I can speak the language. All right, team, if we turn to tab 2, it is the payment requisition number 9 for BC Construction. We have the Vertex letter of recommendation. John Keller prepared the warrant cover sheet for us, and it has been signed off by Context Architecture. Do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Okay, so Martha made the motion, Chief made the seconded the motion. Any discussion? Steve, you've looked at this. You've obviously issued your cover, and I think the big thing is it's about 45% of budget, and we're certainly at that point, construction in the field.
Yeah, we do a thorough review of the rec line by line. We had a couple of questions, a couple of changes were made, and the rec was submitted in response to those requested changes. And what you have before you is the recommended requisition.
Okay, we have a motion, a second. I'll take a roll call vote. Martha Taylor. Martha, you might be on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep.
So we're doing a roll call, Martha.
Yeah,
on-
yeah.
You
I
you
vote
vote aye.
yes.
Okay, Chief Riley,
Yes.
John Lucy,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Motion carries. Zell, good morning. We're just getting on to tab 3 of the meeting packet. We basically just took care of past meeting minutes and pay rec number 9 for BC Construction. So your timing's impeccable, Zell. The next item is review of the context invoice.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't my intent. to be late, however.
Okay. So on tab 4, we have the context monthly invoice. You have the Vertex letter of recommendation, and you have the warrant cover sheet prepared by John Keller. Do we have a motion to accept?
Motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Any questions? Hearing none, I'll hold a roll call vote. Martha Taylor,
Yes.
Mike Riley,
Yes.
John Lucy,
Yes.
and Bob Connors votes yes. Motion carries. All right, turning to tab 5. Excuse me, turning to tab 4. We have the Vertex invoice. It's actually for 2 months. Because of our summer schedule, we missed their August. They missed our August meeting for some reason. So John Keller has reviewed these, and he's prepared the warrant cover sheet. So do we have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Okay, a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. Questions? Anyone have any questions? Hearing none, I'll hold a roll call vote. Martha Taylor,
Yes.
John Lucy,
Yes.
Mike Riley,
Yes.
Bob Connors votes yes. All right, on tab 5, we have what PCO? This is PCO 16R. Zell, why don't you just give us a quick overview of that for the committee?
Okay, certainly. So during the submittal process for the tile work on the project, the original submitted tile apparently was not available in the thickness specified for the project. And the subcontractor put through a different material, proposed a second material that was similar in the appearance that we wanted and in the quality that we wanted to the tile, the stone tile that was specified. And we saw the sample and we approved it. And they never never told us that there would be a charge increase in price for this alternate material until finally BC submitted this as a change order. And it was the first time we heard about it. So we at that point in time, already a lot of time has gone by, And in order to expedite things, we wanted to present this as a possible change just in terms of the material costs involved. And so BC went back to the sub and got them to remove their overhead and profit markup in order to just be paying for the difference in the actual material cost only. And they agreed to it. So we felt that with that concession that it was, it was okay, since we couldn't get the original material anyway, and this was perfectly suitable material as a substitution. We felt that it was something that could be approved so that we can move forward and not try to go back and keep looking for alternative materials to expedite the project.
Okay, thank you, Zell.
Sure.
So team, do we have a motion to accept or approve this PCO?
I'll move to accept.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion. This has been, you've heard Zell's review of this. Steve has issued a recommendation to approve this, and everything appears to be in order. And I want to give a shout out to BC Construction. They've been very good working with us on some of these things, on most things. And they're reaching out to the vendor on this to have them waive their markup is certainly appreciated. So I just didn't want that to go unnoticed. I'm going to take a roll call vote if there's no discussion. Martha Taylor,
Yes.
Mike Riley,
Yes.
John Lucy,
Yes.
Bob Connors votes yes. Motion carries unanimously. Okay, tab 6. I think that everyone will be happy to see that there's only 3 items on our hot list. And updated project schedule. As I recall from our last meeting, we're still on target for substantial completion of December 20th, which was within the contract. We all know the caveat on that can be any COVID-19 delays or impacts. But has there been any change on that? I mean, I've heard that even might be improved, Steve, at one of the
There's
recent.
no change in terms of their anticipated completion. And as you said, it sounds like on site, they're talking about getting an earlier completion, which what I hope that will translate to is an on-time completion. So there's no change contractually, and we're only hearing positive things on site about achieving the contractual date.
Okay. Construction start time, parking, delivery scheduling prior to 7 a.m. complaints. Chief, I know we've had, you and John have been dealing with some neighborhood issues. And my understanding is that everyone on site has been working hard and bending over backwards to be a good neighbor while we're in this neighborhood. Anything you want to add to that?
Look, you're dealing with construction workers that are supposed to be starting at 7 a.m. So it's reasonable to expect them to show up at 6:30, 6:45, as long as the work isn't commencing and they're not being loud out in the parking lot and doing stupid things. There's really not much to do about that. I mean, it comes to the point too where the neighbors have to be reasonable as well. And as long as they're not making excessive noise in the parking lot, if they show up prior to 7 a.m., that's expected. As far as I'm concerned, now I know the DEP has had some individual conversations, and John can fill you in on those, but as far as I'm concerned, it has to be reasonableness on all sides. So, and I think the construction crew on site has been very accommodating, trying to keep the noise down prior to 7 a.m. So, John, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, the last conversation I had was yesterday with one of the neighbors across the street. And the issue that he was showcasing was the guy showing up and I'm quoting, closing doors of cars, causing the dogs to bark. And that's causing the disruption because, you know, the dogs are barking because they hear the noise of cars pulling up and doors closing. I reiterated what you just said, that, you know, what we have control over is the construction start. I asked him if there was any construction starting, or, you know, hammers going or compressors turning on or anything that's in the act of construction. And he said that there wasn't. It was, you know, he knows the guys are going to show up early, you know, to the job site, and it's just the cars pulling up and the doors shutting, causing the dogs to bark. So I really don't know where to go with that. That doesn't sound unreasonable to me, that the guys are showing up to work. So, yeah, I don't know. That was my latest conversation. So it kind of it's in line with what you just said, Mike. But I just wanted to get it out there that the crux of the issue was not construction starting; it was the showing up.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you, John. I mean, the site is in compliance with our site plan review, which has the start time at 7 a.m. and allows work on Saturday. The state building code, which would be governing the building permit, allows a start time of 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And traveling to and from the site is called commerce. It's not controlled by permit or by the state building code. So I think we're all sensitive that it becomes overwhelming for the neighborhood having this kind of activity for the length of time. So it's one of the main reasons we keep this on our meeting hot list, and certainly on Steve's weekly construction meeting. So thank you both. We'll just keep an eye on it and do the best we can. All right, team, are there any other matters, concerns via the design team or Vertex that you want to discuss?
I don't think so.
Okay. All right, thank you, Zell. Steve?
Probably worth mentioning the tours that were conducted this past week since the last committee meeting that John Lucy conducted with the selectmen in the press as well. John, if you have any thoughts or comments on your tours?
No, I mean, I hope they were effective. I hope they were informative. I hope the takeaways were what we're hoping for, and the vision is clear as to where we're going. And beyond that, I hope those markers were ticked off and it was successful.
If you turn to tab 7 of your packet, I attached the handout that we had assembled and prepared for the select board. Pretty much just a cover letter. I would say more of a press release, so the press had everyone's name and title spelled correctly. But it was very helpful to have the perspective site plan and then the different floor plans. John did an amazing job going through each and every area and level, explaining how the coordination and travel ways and the like all work and made sense. John did an excellent job. This was videotaped by the Newbury channel. I think we have a star was born, and they have a future and construction tours.
That's great.
Well, team, that's the end of our meeting packet. I think we it's great to see the progress. It's great. I think the team has all been working well. Design, build, and then the oversight of the building committee. And I look forward to its completion. And Chief, I think this is going to be your last meeting.
It is. It's been a pleasure working with all of you. I keep going through the building, and the progress is astonishing. It's amazing. And I know John will carry on, and the rest of the team. So it's been a pleasure, and I appreciate it.
where John is changing all the colors and surface finishes in your
Yeah,
office. So.
Hey, look, I've been able to contain him thus far. Now you're on your own. I'm sorry. You've got full frontal John Lucy. So God bless.
Well, listen, why don't we go around, let's go right around the table here for comments. Martha, anything you'd like to add?
No, I think it looks great. The progress is wonderful, and John did a great job as a tour guide.
I second that. Mike Riley, how about yourself?
Nope, just what I said. And John did an excellent job as a tour guide. And I think he has a future at Disney when he retires. So
John, would you like to chime in with a words of wisdom?
Nope, well, certainly not that. But the only thing I might just circle back a little bit on is the morning issues in the neighborhood. I think it'd be just a good idea, maybe if it's just a reminder out there, with the maybe through you, Doug, or through Chris, just reminding the guys, hey, just try to be quiet. Close the doors a little bit quiet. Just a little bit of effort might help. That's the only thing that I can that I'd add back onto that. But beyond that, nope, I'm good.
Okay, no, I think that's good advice, John. And Doug, welcome. Doug Gordon is our new clerk on site, and he had a chance to meet Doug. Once again, he's far too qualified for the task at hand. Doug's resume is very impressive, and want to welcome him on board. Doug, anything you'd like to add?
oops.
You're probably on mute, Doug, if you... All right, we like a man of few words.
Yeah,
IT is not on his resume, I take it.
yeah.
Steve, how about yourself?
All set. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you, Bob.
Okay. Zell?
All set, thanks.
All right, team. So let me just look at the menu of the calendar here. See what. So we've been meeting on the second Wednesday. Let me just see what happens in October. So that would be October 14th. Would be our next potential meeting. I'll check that with what the pay warrants are. It probably works out okay, but why don't we plan on 10/14 as our tentative next meeting? If that makes sense to everybody.
Makes sense to me.
All right. Well,
Congratulations on your retirement, Chief.
thanks, Al. I appreciate it. I'm going to swing by the building quite a bit, though. Just
Great.
a hunt. Just a hunt, John.
Mike,
I'm gonna hide his helmet.
Mike, what happened to the chief on the motorcycle over in Byfield? Is he okay, or just
yeah.
banged up?
Yeah,
Okay.
he's doing well.
Okay.
Just a crash. Somebody
So-
cut him off.
So what is it when you're a police chief? You have to have a Harley, a big Harley. Is that kind of
Helps.
the?
Definitely
the
helps.
I don't make the rules. I just enforce them, and that's the rule. You have to.
All right. Nothing else going on. Going to close the meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.